Hi, my name is Alicia, and if by any chance you came to this channel on the wave of this super viral trend telling you that your fake Hermes bag is real and you came here to listen to yet another video convincing you that you got the real thing, I'm sorry, but I am here to disappoint you. You've been scammed just by another guy, and the whole claim that luxury is a scam is a scam. If, however, for some reason you don't know what I'm talking about this guy who went completely viral on TikTok for his absolutely wild claims. As an educated person with master's degree in economics and finance who has wide knowledge of how economics, business, marketing and capitalism work. If I could be bothered, I would get up and give this guy standing ovation because he is a marketing genius. So as I said, he went completely viral for making wild claims in order to sell you his products. And here's what he's saying.
Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China, the bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China, but those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that. They take almost finished bags from China factories back to their own factories and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that. That way, the bags will appear at their boutiques as made in Italy or made in France. You know, those sophisticated European countries, which make you feel mysterious, royal, and thus luxury. Now, close your eyes. Let's just do a little, very easy experiment in your head, okay? Imagine that you have an Hermes bag, and suddenly the label on it changed from made in France into made in China, while everything else, like leathers, zippers, and hardware remain the same. Do you suddenly feel that your bag is not as luxury as before? If you do, that means you have been misled and poisoned by the market campaign of those luxury brands for too long. Welcome to the real world. Now you see, those bags are made in China by our intelligent and diligent Chinese artisans. Let's not be poisoned and misled by the market campaign any longer and be a real person. Buy a bag from us, from our factory in China. See the real world for yourself.
So as you can see, there is a lot to unpack here. Let's start by addressing the claim that things made in China are worse quality. Ever since that viral clip came up, I keep receiving comments under my handbag videos. By the way, if you are new to this channel, I make lots of designer handbag dedicated videos. So I'm not against designer handbags at all. Neither I support certain capitalistic things that is behind brands, but that's to talk about later. I just like designer handbags for their quality, design, and how they look, and what they are made of, and how they present themselves. I just like them for what they are. So ever since that TikTok went viral, I keep receiving comments like, how do you feel now knowing that your handbags are made in China? How do you feel like that the cut is out of the bag? Let me tell you, this TikTok didn't expose anything, didn't prove anything, nothing that is claimed there, it's true. But one thing I have to agree with this guy, the fact that something is made in China doesn't make it worse quality. There are plenty of very qualified artisans and craftsmen in China that quality of their job is nowhere lower than quality of artisans' jobs in Europe, for example. So there are plenty of high quality advanced products that are produced in China, starting from my iPhone, my iPad, my MacBook, and plenty more things, from electronics to household goods to all sorts of garments that probably we all have 80% of our household filled with. So it doesn't mean that just because something is made in Europe, automatically it's better quality. But guess what else is made in Europe? me. So I can get where you get that idea from. So yeah, things made in China can be good quality. That's one thing. Second thing, what boggles my mind here is how gullible people are. I understand that due to lack of common sense, knowledge, education, it's easier to just scroll on TikTok rather than fact check things or just simply Google them. I mean, I'm not even mentioning common sense here. But yeah, I understand. But since when TikTok has become the source of credible knowledge? You all have to get to your head that TikTok is not BBC or any outlet news that you can get credible fact-check knowledge from. It's just a platform on which anyone can say anything. I'm watching this, how gullible people are, and I am petrified how easy it is to manipulate people just because I'm making flashy video that will go viral and all of a sudden people believe it's true. Like, what's next? Someone will make a video claiming that Earth is flat. It will go viral because it's stupid, and next thing you know, everyone is saying that science is exposed. Everything you've been taught in school is a scam. You've been lied to. It's a scam. The Earth is flat. Like, that's what's going to happen next with how gullible, uninformed people and uneducated people are. Just let me tell you, knowledge is real power. Common sense is added asset to it. An ability to make your own conclusions based on your experience and knowledge is something no money can buy. But back to the guy. So the luxury is that claim. It's very funny because the amount of hype, the amount of views, and the amount of crazy interest it gets is the proof in itself that it's not that. People will be buying luxury till the end of time. Just because due to economical reasons, less people can afford to buy luxury doesn't mean it's that. Those who could have afforded it in the first place will be able to afford it for a long time. Those who were aspiring to get to buy that just can't buy it anymore, but doesn't mean luxury is that. Luxury just have a different target of people, different socio-economical bracket, that those who claim it's that maybe are not in that bracket. I mean, surely they are not in that bracket. But let's get back to the guy and why I think he's genius. So the fact that fake bag exists and they are produced in China for years, it's no news. Everyone knows that there's DHgate and so many other platforms that I don't even know names of, that you can buy every single designer brand, handbag or shoes or garments that you can think of. So everyone knew that. Every branding success comes from giving people the reason to buy that, to buy the product and feeling good about the purchase. So you have to feel justified in order to buy a product and spend certain amount of money to it. You have to feel morally justified to spend either big amount of money or lower amount of money. Big amount of money is subjective. So this guy is doing the same thing that LVMH is doing. They're giving you the reason to leave your money with him. So as LVMH is selling you a dream of belonging to certain socio-economical group, because I'm talking about the people who are bothered by this thing, who are so excited, who are so like, oh my god, yeah, it's all a scam, my fake bag is real, so they can feel better about the fact that those who spend money on the real thing being scammed and you still have the same thing. No, you don't. It's not the same thing. And those who spend the money on the real thing don't feel scammed. I don't feel scammed because I bought what I wanted and I could afford it with no problem and I would still buy it. And if anyone wants to spend $12,000 on Birkin, is their right. If they have money and asset to do it, good for them. If they want to spend $20,000 for large Chanel, good for them. But why so badly you want this to be a scam? Why? Answer this question within yourself, in your head. Why do you want so badly your fake bag to be real? And why in the first place you feel the need to buy a fake bag? It's all aspirational. So Going back to LVMH, or any other designer brand house for that matter, gives you a reason to feel justified because they sell exclusivity. The sole reason that their products are so expensive, it makes them so exclusive that it makes them unattainable to many people. That's why they want it so badly. This guy is using similar psychology. He's giving you a reason to leave your money with him by making you believe that he's selling exactly the same thing. But let me tell you something, he's not. He's selling a fake bag. And it's always been a fake bag. He's just giving you the reason now to justify to you that you can feel good about buying a fake bag. He's just making you morally feel better about it because you think like, oh, it's the same thing. Why would I spend this much money to make this guy rich? You are not sticking it up to anyone. You are just making this guy rich. So let's talk about the price difference and why these two guys are targeting different people and why. So obviously we all know, everyone who has even at least the slightest shred of knowledge about how economic works, you should know by now that the price of a handbag is not just a price of materials. Revolutionary. I'm sorry to break it down to you, but all of those you who are screaming that the bag should be the price of materials only are broke and uneducated. Obviously, the price of the bag is materials, the design, the paying designers to design the bag, the craftsmanship, the production, the flagship stores, the marketing, the research, the very expensive locations in the world where the stores are located, the fashion shows, the events, the promotion, all of these, plus profit, plus margin, plus shipment, plus lots of things, goes into the price. Obviously, this guy is able to put lower price on his bag because it's easier to rip something off and pretend you have exactly the same product by just copying someone else than create a company from the beginning, promote it, market it, and first of all invent a design and just make it recognizable. He's just trying to capitalize on the hard work that the brand has done for centuries and promote this particular bag to be a thing of desire. So obviously he is just like someone who's forging money. It's not such a big rocket science to make similar looking bag, almost one-to-one copy, because it's not forging currency. Yeah, you can make it almost identical using identical leather, identical hardware. And if you don't really care about ethics, and if you don't care about serial number, and if you don't care about having the real thing, and if you don't care about paying the guy who's exploiting workers in the sweatshops who are working 16 or 18 hours shift under the minimum wage, go ahead and buy from him. If that makes you feel better. If you can't afford the real thing and you could never spend this much money on a bag because you don't want to, that's fine. That's not a big deal. It's not, I don't know why it makes people so wild. Like, you don't have to buy the bag. It's not necessary. You don't have to, but you still want to, and you still want to convince yourself that the fake thing from China is the same thing sold in Europe. It's not. Just get over yourself and just get it in your head and answer yourself that the reason why you really still want it, although it's, even if it's fake, you want to believe it's real, it's because of deeply rooted insecurities, and you think that by buying a status symbol in the form of a bag, you belong to a certain socio-economical group. Let me tell you, the real status symbols are not a bag. If you have even real Louis Vuitton bag or Hermes or Chanel, and you are living in your studio apartment and you bought this bag on a credit card debt, you are not status symboling anyone, because let me break it down to you. Real status symbol is how many properties do you have, what type of education do you have, where did you go to school, how much money do you have on your bank account versus credit card debt, not your little Louis Vuitton bag when you are in reality broke. Those people that you try so hard to signal your status symbol, they don't see your signaling because the other things speak about status, not just bag. The bag is just like an added thing, like a cherry on top that you can have. A cherry on top if you don't have a top, if you are not on top, you know what I mean. It's just an extension, something that you buy or do naturally if you are rich. This is not a big deal. This is just like going to the drugstore and buying basic skincare. It's the same. It's just extension of natural lifestyle. If you have to go mental and go above and beyond and watch and spiral and watch 700 videos talking about the fact that luxury is scam and the luxury is dead, and convince yourself that this guy who very cleverly and very geniusly is marketing his business to you, making you believe and selling you a form of a dream, if that makes you feel better, know that you've been scammed. Of course, those bags can be really good quality. Of course, they can look like one-to-one replica. As I said, it's not a currency that it's so hard to forge. With the right materials, right training, right knowledge, you can really make a very, very close, impossible to a naked eye to differentiate a replica. But it's still replica. This guy in particular is also making huge margin. Just his target group is different. So if you are mad that Chanel bag or Louis Vuitton bag or Hermes bag costs X amount of money, know that the same type of Hermes bags and replicas that he's selling, you can buy in China or Chinese stores for far less than what he's selling to you. So he's selling his bags for $1,500. I've been to China in 2018 and I have seen really, really, really good fakes in Guangzhou, in Chengdu. I went to Silk Market and I was looking at those bags. They have like whole boutiques of fake bags and they look really like one-to-one replica, some of them. Of course, there are differences. If someone like me who loves designer handbags and is buying them for years, I can tell the difference. But if you're not making YouTube videos about them, if you are not so that deep into them like me, or if you don't care about resale value, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make that much of a difference to you. So those people are selling those bags for far less than this guy is trying to sell it to you. If you don't believe me, you can have a look at this Tanner Lederstein, who's very popular on YouTube about debunking cost per what you get when it comes to designer bags. And he's been saying that.
He adds up all these costs, saying that the total is $1,450. That sounds a bit steep to me because I was in Guangzhou last month. I've seen these top level fake Birkins that is way better than the one he's showing in the video, and they were selling at $500, made with real Togo and stainless steel. So I'm assuming his exaggeration is to sell his fakes or dupes at a 3x multiplier, leveraging a trend now.
So as you see, this Chinese guy is such a clever salesperson. He's just selling you a lie to make yourself feel better about yourself. So he is justified not only exploiting those people in China for minimum wages in long hours, but he's also justified selling this bag for more than he would normally sell it as a fake bag. He's genius. I also want to address one more thing that people like to talk about, that this is stupid to spend this much on a bag because it doesn't cost this much. This is not the cost of a bag. It's not what it costs to make a bag. Well, by that logic, why do you buy Starbucks coffee? You should be aware that this is not the cost of a coffee that you pay for. But what is the cost of that coffee that you pay for is the fact that barista has a job, is the rent of a place, of a location where Starbucks is held. It's the importation of that coffee from probably Africa and it's so many other things, marketing and store design, paying designer for the store to look this great. If you want a real thing for what it really costs and you don't care about brand design and the way it makes you feel, you should go and buy that coffee from the guy down the street, from some immigrant who probably brought that coffee with him and is selling you in his homemade outside makeshift store. But no, you go to Starbucks, you pay 20 euro, I don't know how many dollars because I don't go there, for a coffee, and you feel that's normal. With that logic that you should not pay more than a material cost is, you should go to the restaurant and demand to pay for the meal just the cost of ingredients. Obviously, it's not gonna cost this much because there are so many factors that are included in the price to be high. And also in some cases it's years of a training of a chef who made that meal. And the same when it comes to brands, it's years of building the brand reputation, brand recognition, brand status, and so many things that if you haven't studied marketing, you'll never know about. To sum it up, again, if you want to buy a real thing, go ahead and do it. If you can afford it, go ahead and do it. If you can't afford it, but you still want the real thing and you will into credit card debt, that's your choice, you're an adult. If you want to buy fake just because you want to have a feeling that you belong to a certain group that only you give importance to by believing that it's better, go ahead and do it. But don't come to my videos telling me that my bags are fake because they are exactly the same ones made in China for a fraction of the price. This is a scam, and hopefully this video has opened your eyes to a little bit of a reality check. And also to address his most wildest claim that those brands are producing the entire thing in China and then bring it to Europe and just slap their brand on it. This is highly illegal under European Union law. So if that have been true, if that have been proven to be true, those brands would be in a serious legal troubles because that is a legal fraud. He can say what he wants because he's in China where these laws doesn't apply to him. But know that those claims are absolutely wild, and it's quite easy to check in which countries the factories of respective brands are located. So this guy simply obviously is lying, unless he's not and he can back his claims and prove it and actually show real receipts and proof of it. I will be the first one to make video about it. But for now, it's just a great marketing hoax to get you buying from him instead of them. I mean, not that the people who are buying from him can afford buying from them anyway, and saying that luxury brands are flapping because they are losing customers. No, they are not flapping because their targeted customer group is different in the first place anyway. And you can stay mad if you want to, you can be upset with that video if you want to, but this is the reality. And the reason why it makes people so emotional, it's deeply psychologically rooted in insecurities and a whole bunch of psychological stuff that is not my problem to deal with. And sorry if you feel this way. And no, this video is not sponsored. All the brands that I'm buying from didn't pay me to make this video to defend them. I'm just giving you the insight into my conclusions based on common sense, knowledge and research. And one last thing, if you can't afford these extortionate prices that designer houses has on their product, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Honestly, if you are a young person, it is better to put this amount of money on a down payment on the property, buying yourself a car, or just investing in your education or growth that will make you more money in the future, when then you can buy what you want. That's what I did. I was not buying designers until I reached 30, and you don't really need that. So don't get really upset about everything that has been said here, but don't also be easily led into another scam that this guy is trying to capitalize on, making you believe that by making him rich, you will get a real deal. Don't believe everything that you see on TikTok. Educate yourself, read. Real power is knowledge. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!